I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to build your own social media presence and be the rock star you always knew you were capable of being. Hey there folks, my name is Daryl Prale. I'm the CMO at Agorapulse. Now I'm sitting here in this fancy dancy chair in this cool set because my team came to me and said, Daryl, you have the most followers of anybody on our team. You're a social media influencer. And I say, nay, that's not true. And they say, well, you're the closest we got and we have a low budget. Can you please tell everybody how you built your social media presence? So here I am. So I went through a simple exercise and I went to this incredible thing called a search engine and I built how to build a social media presence. And then I set a parameter, said in the last year, because things have changed a lot. That's what we're gonna talk about today. And I'm gonna tell you my story of how I built my following based on a third-party article here on my phone that I found on LinkedIn. So here we go, right? Number one, this author says, ask yourself, why am I on social media? That sounds like, well, why wouldn't you be, right? But actually, it's a great question. I never set out to be an influencer. I never desired to have tens of thousands of followers. I never desired to be stalked in hotel rooms. Yes, that has happened. So why do I want to do it? Well, for me, it was very, very simple. I was at a company where my marketing budget was questionable.
Lots of little things add up to $100,000.
I had no money to do big advertising or Google campaigns, but you know what? Social media, which as we all know, is the #1 channel. Everything we marketers do, we do on social media. Social media is effectively free.
It's also free.
I set out to create a reputation for myself, and I would indirectly promote my employer, adding value to the target audience that I wanted to attract. And that was why I wanted to be in social media. Why do you want to be in social media? Because it does influence how you go about doing this. Point number 2, it says here, is make sure you use the right platforms. And it's a valid point, it sounds so simple. So for me, when I set out to do this, I was targeting a business to business, a B2B buyer, typically in SaaS companies. So for me, my buyer was on LinkedIn. They were not on Facebook. They eventually moved to Twitter, but only maybe 20% of them. They were on LinkedIn, let me tell you. So that was the right platform for me. For you, it might be Instagram. If you're a services company, you're a hairstylist, for example, you're a wedding videographer or photographer, you're a masseuse. All of those would be great examples of where Instagram would be great, all right? You wanna be where your buyers, where your readers, where your consumers, where your audience is. So you kind of know what platforms to best. And my advice to you, ignore the rest. Number 3, let your audience know you're on social media. Well, it sounds stupid, but you actually have to let them know where to find you. All right, so whenever I'm doing any public speaking, whenever I'm talking to a prospect, whenever I'm talking to a prospective new employee, I say, hey, you can find me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Daryl Prale. Nice and easy. That's where you go. That's my over and over again standard call to action. Point number 4, optimize your profiles. For me, I spent a lot of time, I got professional photos done. I actually went to great lengths. I bought a book for $10, an ebook on Amazon over the Christmas holidays several years ago, and it was called How to Write a Killer LinkedIn Profile. That's what I did, that's where I started. And I read it in a couple hours, then I spent a couple more hours of cherry picking some of the best things I never knew you could do on LinkedIn. Make sure that I was optimized to get found by recruiters with the right keywords. Make sure when they looked at me, they would see right away that I added value, because that's what I wanted my buyer to do. I wanted them to think, this guy's interesting, I think he could help me. Keep it fresh, this is so true. Said another way, know your voice. For me, I'm loud, I'm obnoxious, I like to tell stories. I like to sit in rooms surrounded by lights and microphones that are right here out of lens, out of screen that you can't see. It's not keeping it fresh, it is, because you won't find a white video on my timeline for months and months and months. It's different, it stands out. I do a lot of videos, why? Because you recognize my beard, my hair, the spike, the gel I use, whatever it might be. That got me a lot, but most of all, me being honest, not trying to suck up, giving unpopular opinions, being blunt, being cranky, because that's what I was PO'd when I filmed something, or being genuine, giving help or about things. People understand you and your personality and they identify with that. Just be consistent. Don't make it a pitch, make it about value. Teach your peers everything you know. If I can give you one piece of advice, it's about being consistent, play the long game. It's gonna take you 6 to 12 months minimum before you see any impact. And initially, you're gonna have no engagement. That's normal. But trust me, 90+% of the audience out there are lurkers. They're still seeing your content. They're just not hitting like and they're not commenting, but they're still seeing you. And when they need a provider of a solution or some advice or some services to a problem they have, because they saw you, they're gonna respond to you. That, my friend, is called career security. Do it. Build your own media, social media empire. Do not hesitate. You won't regret it. My name is Daryl. Check me out on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Daryl Preo, or just go to agorapulse.com and download that software and schedule everything and optimize everything and use the AI writer to improve your posts. It's crazy.